Hey everybody, this is Derek for the Grumpy Guy Show, talking about episode number 110. You may or may not hear the music start up. Recorded on Wednesday, September 27th, 2023. Tonight's topics: it's not my fault, he doesn't have to, and they get paid, so why do they care? Stick around with us, it's a good episode. Good evening everybody, welcome to the Grumpy Guy Show. I'm Derek McAllister.
I'm Ryan McAllister.
So tonight we got Ryan with a creaky chair. Alright, his chair's always creaky, but, you know, whatever. So, start out with, I'm not sure if I'm going to have music. I've got to search and see if I can find some. Just reasons for it. I'll leave it at that. But, yeah. So I've got to search and see if I can find some. I had asked my youngest to create something once again, and of course I got the probably not response. So
What a bum.
yeah, I'm going to have to find, either find some stuff that's free to use, or, you know, and that might be a temporary thing, or try to create something on my own. I don't know that I'm going to be able to create something on my own. I'm not that talented, but yeah, we'll see what happens. But at any rate, so we got 3 topics. Could be long topics, might not, but you know, we'll see what happens. So what do you say we get started?
What do we start with?
All right. Well, let's start with the very first one on the list, which is titled, "It's Google Maps' Fault."
Isn't this one a holdover from last week?
No, it is not.
I could have sworn I remember seeing it last week, and we didn't get to it.
No, we did all of them last week. But at any rate, so everybody knows that, you know, and I say everybody, apparently everybody except for this one person knows that, you know, Google Maps is only as good as the last update. Meaning, if they haven't sent somebody out, or they haven't gotten some form of update, you know, for example, down at the end of the road here, it used to think that this little side thing was a road, and it's not. It's actually property of
A little side thing.
Yeah, it's sort of a parking lot for the Mason's Lodge. You know, it's not paved or anything, you know, but it used to think that was a road. So every time, you know, I'd start out, if I was going to the left, it'd say, "Turn here." Well, there's no road there. So finally, when I remembered it at one point, I sent in a correction stating that it was not a road. And, well, lo and behold, they checked things out and they changed it so that it doesn't think it's a road any longer. That's one of the things. That's one of the things that can happen with Google Maps is you send something in. I don't know if they checked it or if they just assumed that, okay, well, the guy lives there, so, you know, maybe, just maybe he knows what he's talking about. I don't know if that was the case or not.
Maybe.
But at any rate, there are errors all over on maps, in part because small areas like this, you know, like our area, they don't necessarily send somebody out here. They're going based off of street maps. You know, not a horrible thing.
Yep.
I mean, maps are supposed to be accurate. But at any
That
rate,
might be the most accurate they could go for.
Yeah.
Without actually sending someone out here.
Yeah. So this guy was apparently on his way home, and, you know, I assume that perhaps he's somebody new to the area or something, but, you know, because if you're on your way home, generally speaking, you know where you're going. Silly thought, but, you know, let's make the assumption that the guy was new to the area. You know, they just moved, somebody just got a new job, whatever. Well, this one evening, he was on his way home in a rainstorm. Apparently, he was using Google Maps, and it told him to go down this one road, this particular road, and it didn't tell him that the bridge was out. So he kept driving.
Ruh-roh.
And it wasn't like a really high bridge, but it crossed over a stream. Well, he went down in, he was trapped in his car, and he drowned. So, of course, it's... it must have been like a slow news week or something, because, it's on the world news, or national news. I mean, they call themselves world news, but they really focus nationally, but... and they're talking about how his wife is going to sue Google over this. And I'm like, but you didn't.
Why?
Well, because Google Maps told him to go down that road.
Okay.
So here's the problem. In the little end user license agreement that pops up when you start using maps, it states that you need to pay attention to where you're going and, because roads may be unsafe. Hello?
Yep. Pay attention.
I mean, seriously, you're driving. You need to look where you're going. You can't just make the assumption that it's correct. I mean, he's not using a military level accuracy GPS. He's using GPS either in his phone or in his car, which it's only accurate to like 10 meters. The accuracy is limited, which means you could be off of the road and it still thinks you're on the road. Don't get me wrong, they use all kinds of things to try and make it more accurate, but when you get out into the sticks, they are literally relying 100% on GPS. They can, if you're in a relatively populated area, they can use triangulation, cell tower triangulation to find your location and assist GPS to try and make it more accurate. However, there's a limit to the accuracy. Just like there's a limit to the accuracy of the fact that the road is there. I mean, I don't know how long this bridge has been out, but if nobody has put in a correction to Google to say, hey, this bridge is out, don't send people down through here, then they're kind of not going to know. And the sad thing is, what's going to end up happening with this is Google's going to want it brushed underneath, so they're just going to give this lady money just to shut her up and to make it so that the lawsuit goes away. And it's stupid. And the reason they're going to do that is because some judge someplace is going to say, well, yep, it's your fault. And it's ridiculous. I mean, come on, people, take some responsibility for your own actions.
For once.
Yeah, I mean, there's been times where I'm going along.
Feels like people never want to be responsible for their own actions.
No, they don't. But there's been times where I've been going along. I'm like, Google says, "Oh, we'll go down this way." I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not going on a I want to stay on pavement. Google doesn't necessarily know that it's not a paved road. It's listed on it's listed as a road on a street map. The street maps don't say, "Hey, this is a paved road. This is a seasonal use highway." They don't. It doesn't say that stuff. So I'm just like, seriously, people, grow up. Stop trying to get rich quick and easy. Because that's really what it comes down to. They're looking for the quick and easy way to get rich instead of working for it or whatever. They're just going to try and get it because, well, I was using Google Maps. You know, you don't like Google Maps,
They
folks.
led me astray.
Yeah, there's plenty of other map services out there. If you don't trust Google, you can go with Apple. Though, you know, Apple's maps have problems. They've gotten better from my understanding, but there's problems.
Plus, they're probably exclusive to Apple products.
Yes, you have to have an iPhone. You know, and obviously...
Of course you do.
You know, I mean, this guy may or may not have had an iPhone. Who knows?
Mm-hmm.
You know, but then, you know, there's other services out there as well. You know, TomTom. TomTom was like one of the first GPS systems for personal use that was available. They're still, you know, they still have, they have apps out there.
They're still kicking?
Yeah. You know, they have apps. And, I mean, seriously, folks, you can use this stuff. There's plenty of other ones out there. You know, maybe not so many on the iPhone platform because, well, you know.
Apple's Apple.
Yeah. But there are plenty of them, many of which are free services on Android. You know, I was trying one just because, you know, I go on my motorcycle rides. I complained about it before. You know, you pick a particular path you want to go, and Google will, you know, they'll go along and, oh, we found a place, or we found a way to save you 5 minutes. Click here if you don't want to do it. I'm like, yeah, I don't want to do it, but I can't click there because I'm driving a motorcycle. I got gloves on. You know, it's just, it's ridiculous there, but I've tried some others, and, you know, for the most part, they're decent.
Mm-hmm.
But that's kind of where it ends, is they're decent. You know, maybe your experience will be better than mine. I don't know. You know, but there's other ones out there. Simply put. You know, do we have proof that he was actually using Google Maps and not one of these others? You know, that's stuff that lawyers are going to look into, but, you know, like I said, the sad thing is she's going to get money. There's no question in my mind she's going to get money. It's whether Google loses the lawsuit or not that makes a difference.
Or if they settle out of court.
Yeah. You know, and if they settle out of court, we won't hear about it. And that's the reason that they would be settling out of court, is so that we don't hear about it. So that all the negative stuff ends. You know, it's unfortunate. You know, it's really, really unfortunate that, you know, we're in a world where people aren't responsible for their own actions. You know, like the lady from McDonald's, or, you know, the lady who sued McDonald's. Well, I put hot coffee between my legs, the cup broke, and it spilled all over my legs and gave me 3rd-degree burns. Well, duh! Mm-hmm. You'd be the first one to complain because the coffee was cold. So that's why if you ever go and get a hot drink, you know, whether it's coffee, tea, or hot chocolate, that's why the cup says, caution, contents may be hot. It's the way in which, you know, they...
On top of that, McDonald's has made their coffee a bit less hot since then.
Supposedly. I really don't think they did. But, you know, it doesn't matter. It's a stupid lawsuit. It's hot coffee. It's not like it's a solid cup. You know, it's not made out of metal. It's not made out of hard plastic. It's foam. Foam collapses easily. Don't put a hot coffee between your legs. I mean, that's just... To me, that's like really, really simple. You know? And like this is really, really simple. Open your freaking eyes, people. Oh, well. Beaten to death.
Yep.
All right. So let's move on to the next one. So, you will probably have a whole lot more to say about this because, well, It's
Okay.
one of your favorite topics. Politics.
Oh, Lord. Oh, goody. What now?
So, Senator Menendez and his wife.
Ew.
Yeah. They have been charged with a whole bunch of things. Basically fraud and all kinds of other stuff like that. And he keeps saying, I'm not gonna resign. I'm not gonna resign. And some people, the news was out.
Everybody wants him to resign.
Well, yeah, and some people were
I
out
have
there.
not heard anyone defending him.
Anyone other than himself.
Exactly.
But, what kills me is the news is out there talking to people about it, right?
I believe the governor of his state has called for him to resign.
Yeah.
I don't know if Chuck Schumer has, because Schumer's the Democrat leader in the Senate. I wouldn't be surprised, though.
I don't think that he has at this point. However, it's getting close. It'll happen at some point. But,
yeah, give him time.
But, the news is they're talking to people on the street, on the street in his home state or whatever. And, these people are saying, I can't believe, why don't they force him to resign? Well, they can't. Unless he's convicted,
True.
They can't. And even if he's convicted, I'm not so sure
I
they
believe
can
they
force it.
can vote to kick him out of the Senate, though.
Yeah, but he doesn't lose his seat. If they kick him out of the Senate, he is still a senator. He just can't go in and vote. If I recall correctly. Could be wrong. I don't know.
Well, it's better than nothing.
Rules. Yeah. But,
Better than nothing.
All these people were, why don't they force him to? Or, and then somebody else said, I don't know why he doesn't resign. He doesn't resign because he doesn't have to.
Exactly.
Until they change things so that he has to resign when in a situation like this, he's not going to. Why would he?
Because he knows he's going to lose his seat anyway. He's going to get primaried.
Maybe. If they have somebody running against him.
They've already got someone running against him.
Yeah.
For next year's election.
That doesn't surprise me, and it all depends. I mean, if this gets brushed underneath under the rug, then people are going to forget in that amount of time. People are going to forget.
I honestly have my doubts.
Yeah, of course, you're talking primaries, so the primaries will be this year. So, perhaps.
This year or early next year.
Yeah. Perhaps they won't forget, but, it also depends on his opponent. If his opponent keeps bringing it up, then they're not going to forget because it's going to be right there in their face. But...
Yep, and he's going to lose big time.
It's very possible. But
similar scandals almost lost him his last election in the general. And this is New Jersey, where he's from, is a solid blue state with a solid Democrat stronghold. And in a year, which was pretty strong for Democrats, he almost lost. Sure, Democrats lost 2 Senate seats that year, but they won back the House.
Yeah. I don't know. I just...
that year.
I just laugh at these people. I mean, it's very, very basic stuff where they don't have to resign. There's no way that they can be forced into resignation.
Mm-hmm.
Even if they get, even if they're convicted, I don't believe they can be forced to resign.
Yep.
And why would you resign? I mean, we've talked about it before. There's all kinds of freaking benefits that they get for the rest of their lives. Why is he going to resign? I'm sure if he resigns, he loses all of those. But the only thing that's happening with this is taking all the focus off of Rubio. That's his name, right? The guy from downstate New York. He's in the House.
No, Rubio's the guy in Florida.
Well,
Rubio's the senator from Florida.
Well, then who the heck is it?
George Santos is the guy you're thinking of.
There you go, yeah.
Well, we're not sure if that's his real name. It might be like Anthony DeVolder or something, I think.
Jesus. And it's another situation. You can't force the guy to resign.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was elected under
somehow
under false pretense. Well, he lied to people. That's how he was elected. Bold lie. So that's how he got elected.
Yeah.
And
I'm talking more about Santos because
yeah,
he's a Republican in downstate New York. How the hell do you win when you're that? Unless you're on Long Island.
I think he is.
Oh, that explains everything then.
Well, yes and no. I think they're still fairly heavy leaning towards the Democrats there, but I don't know. But he
no, all of their seats in the House are Republican, I believe.
Okay. But at any rate, I mean, he flat out lied.
Mm-hmm.
And unless he's convicted, there's very limited action that can be taken. But I don't know. But this whole thing with Menendez, I'm like,
the only way to get him to
seriously.
resign is by peer pressure.
Well, yeah, he's got to resign on his own. They can't force him to resign.
Nope.
And of course the Republicans are going to use that to get him to vote the way they want him to. Well, we can really push to get you to resign, and if you don't vote my way. Because that's how all that crap works anyhow. But
as far as the Senate goes, Republicans don't really have that pull.
No. But while we're talking about this, let's talk about this shutdown that's potentially coming this weekend.
Oh yeah, another one.
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Different circumstances with this one, I guess. I'm not.
It's been a couple of years.
No,
I've missed it.
It wasn't a
Not
couple
really.
of years. It was last year that they avoided a shutdown, and they were going to prevent it.
Last year.
Was it?
Yeah, avoided.
Or was
They
it?
didn't have an actual shutdown.
Yeah. No, I know that.
The last actual shutdown was when Trump was president.
Yeah. No.
Because, well, Trump and Pelosi were both being babies.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of what's happening now. They're being idiots, and they're being idiots all because even if the government shuts down, they still get paid, so they don't care.
Yep.
And
Pretty much.
more than likely their security teams are still going to get paid. So they don't give a crap. It doesn't matter that military personnel will not get paid. That doesn't matter to them. All they care about is, well,
They don't care.
I get
They're
paid,
getting
so
paid.
yeah, that's
Not
all
my
that
problem.
matters. It's really, really pathetic too. They
Yep.
they should be the first ones that lose their money on this. It shouldn't be anybody else. It should be them first. But who the hell knows?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I don't know. So one
But
more.
hey,
topic.
what do we know?
Yeah, one more topic, and I think this one's pretty quick.
What do we got?
So
Okay.
Ophelia. I don't know. Well, just about everybody, at least on the East Coast, heard of Ophelia, and it's because it was a very. I don't think it actually ever got to be a hurricane status. I think it was only a tropical storm. You know, and they don't get named until they reach tropical storm status. But so, you know, it was only a tropical storm. I mean, you're still talking winds. I think wind speeds were like 70 miles an hour when it made landfall or something like that. You know, and of course it brings a storm surge with it. And the whole time after it was named and they had an idea of where it was going, they were telling people, prepare for a storm surge, prepare for a storm surge. You know, there's going to be a storm surge with this. Well, storm surge came and they went and they were talking to people and, oh, I didn't know this was coming. I'm like, you live under a freaking rock? I'm like, are you serious? You didn't know this was gonna happen.
You had no idea that this was coming.
You had no idea whatsoever that there was this huge storm coming, and along with it, with these 70 mile an hour winds, you didn't know that the reason they told you to evacuate was because there was going to be a storm surge. Oh, really? I mean, if you don't know why they're saying, hey, you know, you probably want to evacuate, perhaps you should say, hey, could you tell me why? I mean, seriously, it's just ridiculous. You know, they're not going to tell you to evacuate just because, you know, they feel like being mean. I don't know. I saw that and I was just like, oh my God, dude, are you that dumb?
Apparently.
That's really all I could think of.
They just can't. People need to pay attention.
Yeah.
And use their heads.
Yeah, unfortunately, I don't think they do, you know. They just...
Yeah, because people are stupid.
So many of these people think they go into this thinking, oh, well, it's not gonna affect me.
Of course it is.
You know, it's a storm that's 200 miles wide. You really don't think it's going to affect you? All right, maybe I don't think it was 200 miles wide, but it was you know, it was like 100 miles wide. You know? You really truly don't think that's going to affect you. Okay. Maybe you should take a little bit of meteorology class or something like that. I don't know. Oh, well. All right, folks.
But hey, what do we know?
Yeah. So you may or may not hear music starting up.
Good night.
We'll see you.